Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video, we're going to be talking about Euro US dollar and what next. What can we expect from the currency pair? Well, a couple of interesting scenarios that we could see this week, both from a buying perspective and a selling perspective. We've seen recently that the US dollar has been quite strong in the markets, and that has pushed the Euro US dollar price to the downside. And what we saw over last week was that price broke through the major swing lows at 112. Now, this could trigger some short-term buying of Euro US dollar. Obviously, as well, the fact that last week was quite a large move for the price. What we typically see after these type of moves is some kind of retracement the week after. However, is price going to continue to the downside, or is price going to move higher? Now, from the sort of buyers position, what we have this week, we have some ECB data. They are likely to hold interest rates at 0%, but they also, like many other central banks at the moment, are going to talk about the rise in inflation and how they're going to deal with it. The ECB last time took a fairly neutral stance. They said that they were likely to keep interest rates pretty low, just so that they can remain flexible with the with the sort of growing concerns as well that they had with the Omicron variant sweeping through Europe. However, things are slightly changing there. We've seen recently, or I saw a news headline with regards to Denmark not really seeing the new COVID variant Omicron as a concern anymore, and that shows that the sort of maybe the sort of tone and the sort of what am I trying to say? Sort of theory around Omicron being deadly and things like that is turning in Europe, and that could be a potential positive in terms of the risk on risk off sentiment in the market. If we do head into more risk on, that could be a little bit of a downside for the US dollar. So in theory, what we may see from the buyer side of things, is price push a little bit higher here, maybe even up into sort of the 113.80s, where I have this sort of resistance level just through here. On the short side of things, everything's still in trend. We still technically have the market making that downward trend. We also have the fact that the dollar is strong at the moment and potentially going to get stronger. We do have NFP reports as well at the end of the week, which could show a slight decline in the numbers of jobs created, but the Fed talked about that the jobs number at the moment would be a bit positive in terms of the wages. So there could be a potential for the dollar to strengthen more towards the end of the week. However, we are in this critical sort of zone in here. Now, price sold off from here recently, and we had quite a negative move. Now, this was obviously the dollar data that came out with the FOMC last week, and we saw price move down from this area. So we're back in that sort of territory of where the FOMC selling began. So is the sellers going to remain here? Are we going to see those sellers that sold it last week remain, or are they not going to be here to defend that level? That's what's going to be interesting to me. What I do think, though, if price does start to sell off here, I think that the main level is going to be 112 to watch. If price remains above 112, then we could see a short-term pullback, maybe even back into sort of the 114 level, which would be these kind of previous highs before, maybe seeing some more downside to the Euro US dollar market. So what I'll be looking for in particular, if those sellers are going to come in, what we should see is a lower time frame development of a trend here. Now, at the moment, we do kind of have a reversal pattern. The market made a head and shoulders pattern. It broke through and completed that pattern. We haven't seen the follow through yet, although price is coming up into, again, another area where we saw that kind of supply zone, sort of saw those sellers enter the market. So if sellers do remain again and we see prices break through structure lows, maybe around that 112.30, that could be a good sign that the sellers are going to stay here and that we could see some further downside. You could also look at it from an hourly point of view and potentially look at maybe a double top pattern in here. That could be a sign that price could move to the downside as well. But it's going to be crucial this week to see if price can remain within this 4-hour trend. If price trades above this zone, that would give more strength to the buyers and we would probably see a run back to 114. If we can remain below these sorts of levels in here, around about that 113, if we can remain below that, we may see another move back to 112. So a couple of different scenarios for both buyers and sellers here in the market. What I would look for is those lower time frame trends, just to give you an idea of what is potentially going to happen here. I hope you enjoyed the video update. If you did, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more of our Forex trading content, and I'll speak to you in the next video.